The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, as always, especially this time of year, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
And this is Anthony.
And this is episode 554, BGA's Holiday Gift Guide for 2025. We'd like to thank all the Patreon backers for helping us bring you a brand new episode. Happy holidays, friends. We're so glad to have you here this week, because this week is holiday week. So the first gift I'm bringing to all of you is Anthony.
That's a terrible gift. What are you doing?
Can we return it? Can we do it? Is it?
I mean, you can't return it. I'm here.
I was going to try to return you for a will or
I
Chris
know.
or
I was only sick for 1 week.
Look, man, it's a tough field.
It's okay. It'll happen again. No worries.
You got to be with it. These people demand the Anthony to be on the episode.
Right.
They were like, we're not going to listen again unless Anthony's on the episode.
No. Trust me, it's much better that you had Will on last week, because I didn't make any sense. I would have sounded like just not well. Not well.
All right. Well, he wasn't well, but he is back, and he is quite well, and he's got a lot of great recommendations for you for the holiday season. So if you're looking to pick up some great games, we have some great games for you to pick up, and that's going to be awesome, because it's that time of the year when you really love somebody so much that you buy them a tabletop game because you like playing them too, and it's totally okay. It's not a problem whatsoever, because it's kind of like their hobby too, because they like you and you like them, and therefore games.
Oh, yeah. I cannot count how many years I bought games for my kids, being like, here, Merry Christmas. And they're like, cool, Dad. I'm like, yeah, we're going to play it right now. And sometimes they like them.
Sometimes. Well, it's a cool dad thing, though, to say the least, that your dad plays games. I gotta say that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, of all the things you could be into, games is certainly...
Right, like, you guys are lucky. It could be model trains. It could be golf.
It could be brandy.
Yeah.
It could be skeet shooting kids. I don't know.
You just went dark, man. Okay. I was just thinking boring, but you're like, no. Problematic all the way.
I mean, again, there's a lot of hobbies, and not all of them are so great for the kids.
No.
So
most of them are not. My dad was obsessed with motorcycles. I hated motorcycles. And he's like, I was like, oh, can we do something together? He's like, motorcycles. I'm like, cool, Dad. I'll do it because I'm a child, but
sure. Nothing like a 6-year-old riding a motorcycle, man. That's great.
Legit. It was terrifying.
Oh no. Well, welcome back to another episode of BGA Trauma, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Childhood trauma. Here you go.
Yeah, nice.
I fell down once. It hurt.
Well, again, we have far, far better of a hobby to share with your kids and everyone out there, especially during the holiday season where people are getting together. And certainly you need something to do other than talk about what's happening in the world, because nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah, no, again, trauma cast over. Moving on,
That's
game
right.
cast.
This is what I'm saying. That's why you have to have the games. They'll be like,
exactly. Yeah.
They'll be like, you know that? No. How about that guy? No. How about this situation? Nope. Games.
Right? And games don't say anything about the world. That's definitely not a thing we study and promote.
It says it very vaguely in the background when no one's looking, and then therefore you make your point. So if you do want to broach certain subjects, there are certain games for that. And if you do subtly want to inception your family members, there are also games for that as well. So,
oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Someone's like, wait a second, is this game woke? No.
Did I just learn something about a people I did not know and start to care about them while playing a game with cubes?
Just roll the dice. Just roll the dice. Take a card.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
What is this commentary on? It's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Nope, whatever. It's a cube. The cube doesn't mean anything. It doesn't represent anything.
Anything at all. But if you don't get it over here by this point, oh no.
People gonna die. I mean, cubes go in the box. Don't worry about it.
That's cubes in the box, right? It's like when you play Lords of Waterdeep and all the cubes go on missions, and the cubes never come back.
Right, yeah. Permanent mission.
It's just like, is this a mission? What kind of mission is this? Let's not say out loud what mission it is, but it's a mission, all right. But we'll have a lot of fun stuff for you for this episode. Again, it's a fun holiday season upcoming, and there'll be a lot of sales. There'll be a lot of good things to pick up along the way. Maybe some games that you haven't thought about that you might be interested in. But Anthony, before we get into all that fun stuff, just a little bit of a reminder. A little conference, a little piece of heaven is happening in your neck of the woods, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States.
Well, piece of heaven and Philadelphia in the same sentence. That's a fun thing.
I know. It's a city of brotherly love.
It is, kind of. So, anywho. PAX Unplugged is, it's in 2 days, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out.
Yes.
So if you're not already planning to come, good luck. But... no, it's going to be a blast. If you are coming, make sure you let us know. We'd love to connect and say hi. Maybe play a game. And this is the convention that I'm definitely always going to go to because it is 7 miles from my house.
Done.
Love it. Yes. Hop on
Put
a
that
bus.
on a poster, folks. PAX, are you listening? There you go. Done. And done. Boom.
I love it. Yeah. And honestly, here's the thing though. In most years, I could hop on the bus and it's like a 20-minute ride. This year, I'm staying at a hotel downtown with you because the marathon's happening and the buses aren't going to be running for most of the weekend. So, also, they might go on strike. So who knows? SEPTA just authorized a strike yesterday. So fun.
Oh, there you go.
They haven't gone on strike yet, but it could happen anytime.
So for all of our listeners who actually are going to PAX, they should be aware of that coming in.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't do it till next week. But it is always like this time of the year, right before Thanksgiving, is when they have these votes every 2 years. And I'm like, can you move the timing like a week?
Well, that's when they have the leverage.
Exactly. I know.
You force people, like, do they want to ruin their holidays? Like our government, where they had a, shut down and they were like, holidays? And they're like, yeah, holidays.
Yeah, we got to stop now.
Yeah.
So, anywho, I don't think it'll affect PAX, but keep that in mind. Plus the marathon, which will shut down a lot of roads. It'll be a thing, but that's why I'm staying downtown. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to be there all day, every day, playing games, talking games, meeting people. So if you're in the area, hit us up.
Yeah, well, if you're in the area, hit us up. If you see us at the convention, come over and say hello. And if we're playing a game, we could always use a 4th or a 5th or a 6th. And the whole crew's there. We'll have probably about a dozen or so people from BGA. So. You'll see some of us. We'll be around. We'll be the board is there. We'll have people everywhere scattered about. So we move in a pretty scattered cloud of people. So if you see me and Anthony, you will also see a dozen other people within like a 20-foot radius, give or take. So a lot of BGA presence this year. We're really excited. A lot of our nonprofit partners will be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And a lot of you are going to be there. So even better. And next week, Anthony, we're going to talk about all the fun stuff that we did at PAX Unplugged. So,
oh my gosh, so many games! I'm so excited.
Yeah,
so let's talk to play all these games.
Future Chris and Future Anthony are like, yeah, man, that was awesome. That was great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right, so that's what's happening there. A lot more stuff is happening upcoming, so we'll keep you up on details as far as things are going. Anthony, we have a little bit of a holiday episode, but before we get into that, let's talk about some of the games we did play this week and let people know if they should run out and buy those games, if they should sit down and play those games, or if they should avoid those games, or in fact, it's the holiday season, so roast those games while you have some warm chestnuts over the fire. Anthony, what did you play this week?
All right, so I backed a. I don't do this very often anymore. I don't. If you're catching up on from old episodes. You're like, don't you back something every 12 seconds? They're like, I used to. But these days, it's often just expansions to games I like and the occasional big thing off in the corner, right? So I did back Clans of Caledonia Industria, which is a suite of module expansions for Clans of Caledonia. Clans of Caledonia being one of my favorite games of all time. It's in my top 25. Has been for a while. There was a good chunk of time where it was my most played game. I think 2 or 3 years in a row.
Sure.
And it's just a fun. It's not doing anything that a bunch of other games haven't already done in some form or another. Like, it's a mishmash of different mechanics from familiar games, right? It's got the farming things going on that you'd expect from like a Rosenberg. It's got the pick up pieces off your board and place them onto a shared board that you get from like a Terra Mystica or a Gaia project or something like that. But it's very elegant, it's very simple, it's very quick. It's like there's enough crunchiness there in the game, despite the fact that you can play it in like an hour and a half. That it just really like a hit rotation for me, and I played it a lot and I love it. And it was like a small little box too. It was like $40, tight little box, everything was packed in there. So the expansion comes along, and the designer Juma Al Juju and Karma Games is like, hey, I got like 6 new modules I'm thinking of. People are like, oh, okay, that sounds good. And we're gonna do a big box, so you can put everything in there. It's gonna come in game trays. Awesome, right? And so there's been a little bit of drama around the delivery of the game due to like things like tariffs that Karma Games didn't want to have to pay themselves, which fair.
Sure.
People get cranky about that stuff, but I 100% understand. I will always pay the tariff for the thing that I purchased. That's our right as an American to pay the taxes that our government levies on us. But
do we really? I heard we don't pay the tariffs. Is what you're?
Well, that's the thing. Some people think we shouldn't, and they think this poor small German board game company should have to do it. And I don't think.
Well, that'll teach them. That'll teach them to do a thing that makes people happy.
Yeah, right. That'll solve the world economy.
Just
bankrupt this tiny company.
Sure.
So anywho, it took a little while, but it got here. It showed up. I got a chance to play it. Now it has 6 new modules, right? And just a very, very brief high-level overview, because I've talked about this game like 100 times, but you have a board, your own personal player board. It has 8 columns of different pieces, wood pieces, sheep, cows, and wheat that produce like basic goods of wool, milk, and wheat. And then you have advanced goods, processed goods with cheese, whiskey, and bread, right? Mm-hmm. So you put those onto the board. They produce those things at the end of the round. You build those up. You complete contracts with them. You sell them. You buy new ones. You're trying to build out your network of people in Scotland and ultimately be the most efficient with your little economic engine, right? That's the game. It's fun. Now, the Industria expansion is, again, 6 new modules, which is a little bit of a misnomer because really it's one big module expansion thing, which is usually how this goes. There's like one actual expansion, and then the other 5 modules are just like new things, right? Mm-hmm. That you already have. So the new stuff that we're talking about here, just very quickly, we have the export contract refill board, so you can kind of see which contracts are coming in the future. In the past, it was blind. You have the contract market, and you don't know what's coming in the future. Now you do. That's just an optional thing you could throw out there. There's new award tiles that add another victory point condition to the end of the game. There's farmers market tiles, which I actually like a lot. These are just little tiles that there will be one for each player that you place out on the board, and these let you sell stuff at a higher rate on the board. Normally, you can, if you build next to somebody else, you can buy at a lower rate. Now you can sell at a higher rate, which is great. It's like a little bonus thing you can do with the market. The other big thing here is the train module. Now, I know I said 6 modules. That's only 4. 2 of those are kind of wishy-washy, right? It's new port tiles and new clans. I'll get back to the clans because that's the most interesting part of this, I think. The train module is like the big new part of the game. It's a whole separate sideboard. And so what this is you have a train, and you're going to place it in a village to start the game. And there are milestones as well. And so on your turn, you can choose as an action, instead of doing your normal stuff, to move the train between 2 locations that are unlocked and to deliver goods. You can only move the train if you can deliver the goods. If you deliver the goods, you get one of the bonus tiles that are there, and there are all sorts of different things. Like one of them was, you know, to turn into animals for $40 or something like that. Like it's different ways to sell goods, upgrade things, get other stuff. It effectively what it does is it gives you something to do if you've produced a lot of goods that you otherwise wouldn't have anything to do with except to sell. Which is not a bad thing, but especially if you don't have enough merchants, sometimes just selling stuff is not the best strategy. It feels like you're just kind of throwing stuff away. So, this is a good way to kind of manage that. The other thing on the train sideboard is the milestones. So the milestones there'll be several milestones out on the board, and these will be things like have one of every type of thing that you produce out on the board, right? And then you can take that milestone as your action and you put it on there. It's some bonus points. And once you unlock all 4 of your milestones, you get this train station token that you can put on the main board. And now you've expanded your network, which is interesting. I will say, I know I'm saying a lot of things like this is interesting. I mostly ignored it. It adds a thing to the side that I'm sure there's a way to play the strategy where you're getting a lot of interesting things off the sideboard. Like the number of deliveries you complete will give you points. The number of milestones you complete will give you points. So you could get like 50 points off of the train board if you really just focused all your energy there. I haven't played it enough to know whether that balances out with like taking similar actions with similar resources on the main board. But ultimately what it felt like was just like an extra thing to keep track of. And I just kind of gravitated toward playing the stuff I know. And like, there's a lot of expansions that do this. They're like sideboard, little side activity, mini game. And you're like, I'm good. I'm going to do my main thing over here. So it's not bad. I think it's fine. And it gives you something to do with those extra resources that you otherwise wouldn't use. But it's not necessary. It's not like a vital expansion, right? It's not fixing anything that's wrong with the game, nor is it like adding anything that you could do without. So the main thing this expansion does that I think is really interesting is it adds in these new tiles, right, to the base thing. So you have new port bonuses. Some of them are good, some of them are not. So you can like spend extra money to unlock your technology upgrades. It gives you more income. You can sell 4 processed goods for $50, which is almost always a good deal if you have them to sell. You can complete a contract and get 3 merchants, which is amazing. That's a great one. So those are good, varying different levels. You have new scoring tiles too, some more variability in the gameplay. There's only 5 scoring tiles in the game. Any one game, there was 9 in the base game. Now there's 18. So you just have more variability. Each game will now be a little bit more different. So you're not just picking 5 out of 9, you're picking 5 out of 18. But the big thing is you have all these new clans, right? There are, I think, 10 new clans. And they do some really interesting things. I've not played with all of them yet, but like some of my favorites so far are Clan Fraser, for example, is a kilt making clan. So if you have sheep that are next to workers on the board, you can take the wool from those sheep and put them on your little clan board, and you make kilts. And the kilts are wild resources. So you now have your 2 wool could be cheese, they could be whiskey, they could be bread, they could be anything, which is incredibly flexible, and it really makes it much more feasible and flexible to do things on the board. You also get free bonus wool if somebody moves up on the cotton track, because of course cotton, once it's imported, is good for making kilts. So that's a really cool one. We have Clan Gordon, which lets you kind of stock up on wheat. So you can put these grain pieces, which are a little bit cheaper now with this one, on here, and you get bonuses. So you get a free space or a bonus upgrade or get wool or milk. You have Clan McFarlane, which lets you travel a lot more easily. And it kind of it gives you canal access, which is interesting. Clan McGregor, which is it lets you build up herds of animals, and you get resources for being able to do that. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but it's really I haven't seen one yet that I didn't find interesting in some way. Like the base game had perfectly fine clans, and then you had like the 3 broken ones, which were the Kickstarter clans, the bonus ones that weren't really play tested. These 10 presumably are all play tested. He worked on these for like 8 years, right? So I'm assuming that they're all pretty balanced. They seem so far, the ones I played with, anyways, and they offer a lot of interesting different variability to the gameplay. It's like one of the things I felt like the game needed. It needed more options
Yeah.
when once you played it a lot. So what I'll say about the expansion Industria is I like everything in it. I don't think it's essential,
Sure.
but I'm happy to have it, and I think who it's for is people who already play Clans of Caledonia a lot.
Hmm.
So if you already play this game a whole bunch, you've got more clans, you have more victory point conditions, you have more port tiles, and that's probably like the core of it. And honestly, it'd be kind of nice if they just sold those separately, right? Because some people that's all they want. The train thing, I could take it or leave it. I mean, it's fine. I'll put it out there every time, unless I'm playing with new players, because new players that just adds a whole extra layer of explanation and rules to the game. But it's not even that complicated, the rules. Um, Everything else that's been added to the game is it's just more of the good stuff and more flexibility in how you approach the game, and kind of resolving and patching a few small issues. So it's great. I like it. It's a play as an expansion. I'm happy I bought it, though. I do like the big box. It all fits really well. They took the time and made sure that the game trays not only fit well, but the things made sense where they went. They have icons on them. It packs down really quickly. Some of these things that the game trays do not. So I do dig that. And the box is still not that big. So yeah, Clans of Caledonia Industria. If you have the base game and like it, you should definitely check this out. If you've never played the base game, start there. It's got a lot of game in it already. You don't need to jump straight to the expansion.
What if you played the base game a lot, did not care so much for it? Does this expansion make the game better?
It makes it better in like small, like
Okay.
like it depends on what you didn't like about it. Really, like it doesn't change any of the core gameplay. You're still
Sure.
spending money to put stuff out on the map, trying to build out your network. But now there's some flexibility in how you build the network. You can have multiple
Sure.
pieces on the same location sometimes. You can interact with each other on the board a little bit more. Um,
So
the port tiles are more interesting. Like there's a lot more going on. There's more stuff that breaks the core rules.
sure.
Um, but it's still the core rule.
Yeah, I mean, I played this so much back in the day because when it came out on Kickstarter, people were really enamored with it. I thought it was fine. I didn't like. I thought the connection bonus thing was a little bit odd and a little fiddly and obtuse. I think some of the clans, like you mentioned, were just weirdly problematic and some were overpowered. And again, depending on positioning and what other people did, it could certainly heavily hinder your production of certain things.
Sure.
But at a base level, it had a lot of the tried and true mechanics that we liked from other games.
Yeah.
So I would really be interested in playing this because I would love to be converted
Right.
into a Clans of Caledonia fan where I'm just right now, I'm just like, I would like I've played it. I don't think it's a bad game, but I would never jump in if there was other games available just because like I just feel like it's just the board itself. I think the board mechanics itself just bothered me. It was just I mean, I love making burnt toast as a character, in that game, but I mean, I like I mean, again, the train and the deliveries is fine and interesting. What I think I might like a lot more is the milestones and maybe how the contract board refills a little bit better in the awards because I did think it was a little too rigid with its scoring. And again, if you had a good clan and a good situation kind of set up for you, you just ran with the game, right? Like, I mean, that was really hard to kind of deal with. So maybe opening it up a little bit to different scoring options might allow some of the other early clans to actually play better.
Yeah. No, I could see that. Like this is the type of game like during COVID we played this online a lot. My friends in Pittsburgh,
Sure.
and the online version let you do a bid. It's the kind of game like Terra Mystica where like some clans were clearly better than others, so you would bid victory points for those clans. Like
Yeah.
the milk one, for example. The milk one had so much flexibility to it. Being able to sell the milk whenever you want and build it up. And like everybody wanted that clan because like that's a really easy one to play and it's really powerful. Aging the whiskey, very powerful if you could if you can plan it out. If you can get a couple whiskey in there in the first round,
Yeah.
amazing. Other ones, not great, right? Oh, you can travel further on the river. Cool. Right? It doesn't really do much, especially like depending where people start on the board and how many players there are would really affect that.
Yeah.
I haven't played enough of these new clans to say like if they are more of the same or different, but the few that I've seen are really interesting. And what I really like is more of them have that sense of like you're playing your own little mini game,
Mm-hmm.
like in your own space, right? Like one of them gives you a bunch of extra port tiles that you can activate on your own based on what happens on the player boards. You can kind of maneuver and manipulate what's going on the map so that you can activate your special powers later in the game. That's really cool. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
It's less of just like you get an extra merchant and things are $1 cheaper. I'm like, okay, I mean that's powerful, I'm sure, but it's boring, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So these are more interesting and more fun.
Yeah, and we like I said, I played it a bunch. We played it on BGA Live back in the day.
Yep.
And there was always clans that were just more fun to play in that kind of respect.
Yeah, for sure. So, and that's not going to change, but yeah.
No, but at least the
more options.
The different options and the different goals kind of open us up to playing different, maybe other less powerful types. But now they have a target goal instead of like, I have to do this thing, even though like I have to get to the edges of the board.
Yeah.
Right. There was one with the edges or something like that.
Yeah,
one of the plans. So yeah, no, this is great. I might really like to try this out and see if it opens the game up for me.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've been talking about this game for quite some time. Got a chance to play it, and I don't play a lot of games solo, but this game plays so well solo. I might say it plays better solo than any other way. This is FlipToons, came out this year, and this is from Thunderwork Games. And we talked about this a while back because it had this really cute throwback artwork of like cartoony animals from like, I don't know, the 40s or the 50s, like really kind of enthusiastic, like full Looney Tune-ish kind of characters. And basically what it comes down to is creating a grid of 3x2 cards and then taking your deck. Everyone has the same starting deck, shuffle it, and then play those cards out to your grid. Now, every time you do this, you're going to end up with a different grid because the cards are shuffled up. So in a way, it almost plays a little bit like Challengers, where the challenge or the game elements or game mechanics itself is like choosing from the market to what to put in your deck. Once you put it in your deck, the deck runs. So at that point, it's kind of out of your hand, and it just becomes more of like a game experience. Like the game mechanic is actually selecting for your deck or trying to discard certain cards from your tableau. But once you get those cards out there, again, at the beginning of the game, you're going to have very low scoring cards. They're only going to give you a very low level of fame or talent points. Now, why this is an issue is because there's going to be a market of cards up ahead, and your job is to purchase, ideally, the correct characters that are going to allow you later in the game to be able to shuffle up again and then play the cards out to the tableau. And based on the character's special abilities, right? At the beginning of the game, you have very basic kind of characters and they don't do a lot. But as the game goes on and you pick up more and more powerful characters, that's really where the game comes alive. So like, for example, you'll have a character like Caterpillar. It doesn't really do anything. It's worth no fame, but you can discard it for a very cheap price. And there are other cards that interact with it. So the tableau building is choosing from the market, but there's also cards that will allow you in your tableau to get rid of other cards. So there's a little bit of thinning out your deck so that the right cards hit your tableau. And yet at the same time, it does offer some kind of fun brain puzzly kind of thing of like, what can I do? How can I get the cards? As people, if you play a multiplayer game, as you pick the cards slide down in rank. So other cards that are very valuable become cheaper, even though they're powerful cards. And the cards have a large number of different interactions. I already mentioned that some cards get rid of other cards from your tableau, and you're going to want to do that one way or the other. Either pay for them to get out of your tableau with your fame points, or use other cards to get rid of cards. But remember, if you put one of those cards in your deck and it plays out to your tableau, it's going to continue to discard other cards out of your tableau. So you have to be careful with that. There's cards like Rabbit, and the Rabbit can stack on top of each other. So, because, rabbits, right? They're very social kind of creatures. So even though you have that 3x2, it can give you an opportunity to actually rank up a lot of fame if you're lucky enough to be able to get a lot of rabbits, right? Because the market, the whole deck of cards comes to play out. But again, can you afford it? When does it come out? Is it active and available for you? And when that deck runs out, that's the end of the game. So you win by collecting 30 fame from your tableau when it's laid out there. If you're able to do that, the game comes to an end, and whoever has the most fame, right? So I could activate the end game with 30, but maybe you had 35 or something, then you win the game. A lot of interesting, different, active kind of cards that do a lot of different things. So it would take probably about 20 minutes to go through all the different abilities, but mostly cards score off of other cards, cards discard other cards. Cards like the monkey, for example, can actually go up into its own row. And basically, you just want to be in a position to have as many active fame points as possible on your 3x2 grid, which again can expand based upon what you're able to do. If you play the solo version, 2 cards, the end cards, the cheapest and the most expensive, drop off each round. So you are going to go through a lot of cards rather quickly. So you really want to get that tableau solid and tight as quickly as possible. Pick a strategy as the cards come out. Maybe you're flipping a lot of cards for victory points. Maybe you're getting a lot of rabbits, maybe monkeys or dogs or other stuff like that. Again, very much like Challengers. And if you enjoy Challengers, I think you'll enjoy this game because, again, some game mechanics, being wise what you're choosing from the market, and then the rest of it is seeing how your tableau plays out. Every once in a while, you have a little bit of a say on what gets kicked out or what stays, but that's pretty much it. And then you just really want to hit 30 points. So there is a high frustration level if you're just not getting the cards you need. But generally, it's a fun, quick game, and the artistry here just really makes the game stand out. So for FlipToons, I give it a light play. I think it's a solid solo game. So if you're just looking to play something quick and fun by yourself, it's a simple deck of cards, nothing else. FlipToons.
Great. I'm glad it's worth something because it's such a cool looking aesthetic.
Yeah.
So you don't want it to be nothing.
No, it's a small box game that you can put in your pocket or throw in your bag and take with you, and then you could play it on a bus or a train or something like that if there's a little table space. Again, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but you would need like a small table or desk area to kind of lay out the little marketplace and then the 3x2. But standard cards, pretty good.
Great.
All right. Well, Anthony, that leads us up to our holiday gift guide. These are gifts. We're guides. So therefore, gift guide. That's a thing we do every year.
Impenetrable logic.
It's a thing. You must do it now. You must listen to the games and go and wonder and purchase these games for other people and say that BGA sent you.
Yeah.
Because again, more games to the table is always a good thing. All right, Anthony, first up for us, we're going to be talking about apps because every once in a while, a board game is not played on a board. It's played on a tablet or a monitor or something else for some strange reason.
Yeah, a lot of games are. And big ones that probably shouldn't be. Well, that's a separate conversation, though. I was looking this, I'm I'll just remind myself of which ones came out this year. And I was oh, right, a bunch of these were announced. So, Mr. President.
Yeah, my God.
Is the most sprawling game I've ever seen. They're making an app of that. I'm good luck. Voidfall is in development as an app. I'm okay, not everything needs to be an app, guys.
Absolutely not.
This is one of the things that board games do, is you can have 400 things in front of you at a time. Anywho.
I mean, it's such the money is there, right? If you could pull it off. I mean, I think that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'll buy Voidfall, but I probably won't prefer that. I can't imagine. To the tabletop.
not going to be good, but you'll buy it.
No, like everybody keeps trying to figure out that Through the Ages process, and no one's quite gotten
Yes.
there again.
No, very good. Good call.
Yeah. Anywho, a game that does work in tabletop or on digital from tabletop, because it's small, is King Domino. Now, this is not out just yet. This is releasing on Steam on Thursday. So, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, it comes out tomorrow, November 20th. And but there is a demo up that you can try out, and I've had a chance to play kind of the early release on this. So King Domino, very simple game. You play out dominoes. You're trying to connect different types of terrain, and then maximize the points based on the little crowns around those terrains based on the size of them. That's it. That's all you're doing. Little draft involved. It's got a really nice, visual style to it. It kind of looks like a mobile app, like the kind you see like on Facebook ads, like a Clash of Clans type of thing. But I think it's a good fit for this particular game because it has a similar aesthetic. So why not, right? There are multiple game modes here. So you have like the Lost Kingdom mode, which is like a solo mode where you can kind of go out and build things out, which is cool. Solo puzzles, trying to figure out the best way to put stuff in. I love that. There are different challenges. There's customization options. You can play it cross-platform. So it's on PC and mobile. So it is King Domino, which at the end of the day is a very simple game. I was playing this game with my kids when they were like 3, and they loved it. But it's also one of my favorite of these light family games, and I think it's perfect on mobile. So I'm digging this. I'm gonna pick it up next week when it comes out.
Very nice, very nice. All right, well, I got a bigger game, but the reason why the bigger game works here is because they have seemed to successfully do the transformation from a board game model to a video game model. Now, if you played any board games online and they've tried to do this, it's a very dangerous valley, which I do not recommend game designers get involved in because they almost always fail. This time, I guess in part because they had a previous version of this second edition, new version, new implementation, looks and plays a lot more like a video game. And again, the simple game mechanics and the simple game challenges that you're playing works very well. So I'm, of course, talking about Frosthaven, Awakening Protocol, that late summer came out. And I've already played Gloomhaven online, and that was okay. But again, had some of the similar challenges and problems to Gloomhaven, and it was a lot slower at, actions and progress on the board. Frosthaven has seemed to correct that. And this version plays a lot more like your typical turn-based RPG, which obviously it is in a board game form, but did not play smoothly with the Gloomhaven version. Now, many years later, Frosthaven's out, new characters, new quest, some updated changes and some refinements to the system that previously made Gloomhaven a little clunky. Frosthaven does a lot better. So if you're interested in either Gloomhaven or Frosthaven, this is probably the better version to play.
Right.
And they've done a good job on it.
Yeah, this is the way to do a big, heavy game. It's like re-envision what it means to play it. Take the core ideas and implement that in a new medium. Don't just try to translate boards into 12 screens. Right?
Yeah, and you don't have to go to like a secondary or a third screen to play the game because you're just playing a deck of cards.
Right.
The characters are on the board and it's just play the cards. So pretty straightforward as far as actions are concerned.
Good stuff. All right, next category is family games. So let's talk about games that we recommend for the family. I talked about my choice here just last week, I believe. 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, I wasn't here last week. I was sick.
People are upset,
oh
man.
No!
People are very upset.
Yeah.
There was petitions, there was rallies, there was rage, there was a government shutdown.
That's true. There was a government shutdown last week.
You were mostly responsible for that. Most people don't know that, but the real political.
It was preemptive. They knew I was going to take a week off, so they're just
they did, and they were open to protests on that. Yeah. They're like, if Anthony's not on the podcast, no government.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well,
hey,
somebody has to be the tie that binds this universe together. It turns out to you, man. I don't know.
I don't want that kind of pressure. That's not cool at all.
Your middle name is Nexus, so there you go.
Oh shoot!
I know. Your parents, that was your parents, man. They was their
Yeah.
call, not
I
mine.
should talk to them about that. That's not
It
cool.
was weird. Seriously.
Oh man.
You're the MC, you're the main character, you're the chosen one. You're the child that was prophesized, so therefore, ergo, that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
cool, I get to be a sidekick.
Oh, come on, man. Maybe you're all those things too.
Oh, that's adorable, but no.
Okay. So the game I'm going to talk about from 2 weeks ago,
there you go.
is I reviewed this before. I think I gave it a play, and it's a good family game because it is something that kind of fits with the family experience of reading this novel together.
Sure.
That I had with my kids and that I had with parents as well. The Hobbit, There and Back Again, which is a roll and write or roll and draw map building game in which you work through the 8 chapters of the story, and it gets progressively more complicated. It kind of scaffolds up and builds on itself. So it's a good experience, especially for like if you're playing with kids and you happen to be reading the novel at the same time. You can kind of go through those different chapters alongside the novel, and I think that's what really would bring it to life and make it more interesting. And the most interesting is to have that kind of experience and discussion. So yeah, The Hobbit, There and Back Again. You can choose the level of complexity from the 8 chapters based on the age of the family members and the complexity that they're comfortable with.
Very cool. Yeah, I could see that. And the artwork is fantastic.
It is. It's very compelling. My kids were just like, "That's cool looking." I'm like, "Well, then we're playing it."
And then you realize that since it's a roll and write, basically, you're going to make really blotchy scribbles on the board and kind of like not be cool. It's like, how did this turn ugly? I don't know. I feel bad.
Yeah, it's like you let your father draw on it. That's how it got ugly.
That's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my family game here is in fact a 2-player game, and it kind of fits along that kind of family vibe because who doesn't like toys and who doesn't like battling with their toys? So this is Toy Battle. Came out this year, and it's all about sending your army of toys to conquer the enemy's territory. And there's a lot of different boards to play here that come along with the game. And each board gives you kind of a different aesthetic to the game, but primarily you're doing 2 things. You're either recruiting your toys, and each of your toys has a particular number and a particular power. And some of those toys, counter other toys. But basically, you're trying to build a pathway from your base to their base. And if you're able to get your toys in that line across this kind of obstacle course of different directions and other player get in your way, you win. Or if you're able to claim sections on the board, like triangles or certain contained square areas, you'll also gain points. So there's a way to win the game just based on gaining points. Again, drafting, playing them on the board. There's only certain spots the toys could go, so it's not very difficult for families. It's a 1.47 weight on BGG. It has a 7.7 rating. So again, it's a good game, solid game. Once you learn how to play the base game, you can play any of the other games, and it's a lot of fun. Toy Battle.
All right, party games. Next up on the list. Party games are a lot of fun because they are not meant to be taken very seriously. So you're goofing off, you're laughing, you're throwing stuff. And so this is a game I talked about just a couple weeks ago when we were going through our predictions for the year. And it's called Hot Streak. It's a game. It's a racing game. There's a lot of these, like you bet on the racers, but this one is particularly fun because you have these little mascots that are like the size of like little toy figures, and they're running around and being goofy, and everything about it is silly. And it kind of, if you've been to a sporting event in the last 15, 20 years, you have seen a mascot race, and you know how silly and ridiculous they can be. So it perfectly captures that as both a party game and a racing game. It only takes 15, 20 minutes, and I've yet to see somebody not have fun with this. So, Hot Streak.
Very cool. All right, for a family game for me, I wanted to find something that everybody can play, typically no matter their age. This game plays from ages 3 to, from player count from 3 to 18. And again, plays all different family ages. It's a 1.04 as far as weight on Board Game Geek, 7.2 rating there. This is Flip 7. And basically, Flip 7 is really a press your luck game. Just you playing one deck of cards, and the vast majority of cards are just numbers. Higher the number, the more cards of that type. So if you get a 12 flipped in front of you, there's 11 other 12s, right? Because there's 12 12s in there, 11 11s, 10 10s, and so forth and so on. So there is some ability to kind of guess what might come out based upon the stats there. But anybody can play this, right? It's a straightforward press your luck game. How far do you want to go? So kids can just keep flipping the cards until they decide to stop or bust. The more cards you flip, the more points you score. And by the end of the game, whoever scores the most points wins. And of course, if you flip 7, you get a bonus, right? So typically you're looking at 200 points that you want to score or above, right? Everyone kind of gets involved in that kind of thing, so you can play off other people's cards, right? I see you pulled a lot of 10s, or the crowd played a lot of 10s, so maybe I feel safer running with a 10 out there. And then there's a couple of action cards which kind of open the game up a little bit. One card lets you do a second chance, so if you bust, you can play another card. Another card allows you to freeze other players. Another card lets you force either yourself or other players to play 3 cards in a row. So it has just enough variety as far as gameplay is concerned that you can really get involved in that kind of fun stuff. Or again, if you're looking for something a little more dynamic, you can play with a different, it's more of the group that really, makes the game. And there's actually a Grinch version that came out. So if you're looking for something a little more Christmassy, but non-denominational, you can check out that Flip 7 version.
All right. Perfect pick.
Yeah. Hit 200. That's all you have to do. Just saying.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Next up, we got solo games. So for me, I actually had a tough time this year. Some years we don't have like a lot of good solo options. This year there was 2 really good ones. The one I would nominate to put out there for everybody to check out, though, especially as a gift if you're picking up a game for somebody who likes to play solo, is Star Trek Captain Chair, right?
Ooh.
So now you could get somebody Imperium Horizons, which is the same system from Nigel Buckle and David Turczi.
Don't do that.
But here's the thing. Star Trek Captain Share is actually the simpler version of this. And I say simple in quotation marks because this is still a very complex game. But it's streamlined in a lot of ways. It's more thematic. If you know Star Trek, it's a lot easier to get into this because the captains and their types of actions and the characters and the officers that are in those decks all make sense. If you don't know anything about Star Trek at all, then it's kind of a wash and you can get whatever theme you're interested in. But if you like Star Trek, this is one of the best solo deck building puzzle-y games out there. It takes a good 90 minutes to 2 hours to play through a session. You're really like working through the puzzle. There are 6 different captains in the base box. There's another base box coming out here this fall with another 6, and then an expansion with like another 2 or 3. So lots of captains to choose from, and it's also very good 2-player. So like if you're like, I love this game solo, you can take that and play against a friend, where all those attack cards do something. Now you're fighting somebody. So great game, love it. For the Star Trek fan out there, it is like a must play.
Very cool. For my 2-player game here, I have King of Tokyo Duel. So if you played King of Tokyo before, you have most of the general concept and play style here. Basically, you have 2 monsters that are fighting it out, and it's a tug-of-war game. So there are 2 pieces on the board, and if you're able to get one of those pieces all the way to your end, you win. If you're able to get both of those pieces into your main victory point area, but not all the way to the end, you also win. Each of the monsters has a unique special ability and particular health status. So it is certainly possible to knock another monster out as you do, or again, one of those kind of 2 victory point conditions on the board. There are power-up cards as always, and there's dice as always. And it's a very quick, fun game. It plays in about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you do have a bad roll or a bad hand, it's not going to really make you feel that bad. And again, if you love King of Tokyo, but you want something that plays faster and a little bit easier, and you're looking for something for 2 players, this is certainly great. So King of Tokyo Duel.
All right, yeah. My 2-player game is Star Wars Battle of Hoth.
Oh.
So Star Wars Battle of Hoth is a re-implementation of Memoir 44, which is a re-implementation of Battle Lore, going all the way back to Richard Borg's Command and Color system, which the core idea of which is very simple. You have a hand of cards, you play a command card on your turn, it activates a certain group of units, and those units do something. Ta-da! The games are always 1v1, and often a little bit asymmetrical. In this case, you have the Empire versus the Rebels, of course, on Hoth. It is a quick game. It is a smaller version of the Memoir 44 Command and Colors board, but it's a very solid production. For like $45, you're getting all the little miniatures representing the Battle of Hoth, a lot of variability, a ton of replayability, and the games take 30 to 45 minutes, which is fantastic, especially as a parent, right? I'm like, we're going to play a Star Wars game. It's going to take a half an hour. Love it. Perfect. If you have played any Command and Color systems and you like Star Wars, this is for you. If you've not played any of those, but you want like a nice, accessible 2-player battle game, it's like a 1.93. This is fantastic. So, Star Wars Battle of Hoth, a home run update of Memoir 44 from Days of Wonder.
Very nice. Well, looking at the light games here, and my game I'm choosing here is Critter Kitchen. It's on the light side. It's not as light as the other games I've talked about. This is a 2.47 weight on BGG. It has a 7.9 overall rating. I played this earlier in the year, and what I really enjoyed about this game and why I think it's on the lighter side, despite the kind of weight rating here, is basically you have different chef and chef assistants. You have these basically worker placement situation, and then there's a marketplace. You can place out your chef and assistants, and you're going to get food. You get the food, and you try to meet the particular conditions of the menu. That's pretty much it. There's a couple of other cards that you can play in and play out. The game, if you bought the big kind of version of it on Kickstarter, there's ways to make it more complicated or ways to make it more simple. The retail version, which is currently out for sale, is definitely the shrunk down retail, simpler version that you could play with gateway gamers or gamers who are just getting into gaming. Because again, very simple and straightforward if you don't use all the special cards. That's Critter Kitchen.
Critter Kitchen, fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my pick for light game is Railroad Tiles. Railroad Tiles is a board game tableau building variant on Railroad Inc., which was a roll and write game from about 10 years ago. In this game, you're going to draft a column of tiles that have different railroads and roads on them, and you're going to place them into your own personal tableau. They're also going to capture different types of movement there, whether it's cars or trains or individuals who are being moved and picked up. Mm-hmm. And you're going to score points based on a number of different factors. The game takes place over 8 rounds, and in those 8 rounds, you're trying to be as efficient as possible building out your little tableau. It's not a roll and write, though. You have tiles that you actually place out in front of you. You don't have to worry about your handwriting. And there are a lot of expansions that came with it if you backed it on crowdfunding, but those are going to be released over time as well. So just the base box, which is all I have, it's just a fun, quick, accessible experience. If you've played Railroad Inc., it all makes perfect sense. Visually, it has the same visual language. If you have not played Railroad Inc., it also makes a lot of sense because roads connect to roads and railroads connect to railroads.
Nice.
That's all you need to know. So great, quick, simple tableau builder, Railroad Tiles.
All right, now we're on to our medium weight games, and I'm going to suggest Biome. This came out late in 2024. This was a Kickstarter that came out. I played it this year, 2025. And I was really impressed with this game, which is a tableau builder in the, I guess, similar likeness to Wingspan, but really the dynamics here are much more crunchy. It's not a super crunchy game, 2.56 on, as far as weight's concerned, on BGG. It's got a 7.6 rating on there as well. But basically what it comes down to is you're going to be playing cards out to your tableau, and all of these different cards, all of these different animals, flora and fauna that come out into play are going to have different special abilities and activities that they could take place. So the plants are going to support the animals, and vice versa in some cases. And then it has this really cute feature because the animals are going to give birth to younglings. And your job, obviously, as the parents here, is to help these younglings grow and to score points based upon them. But also, there's predators in this game as well. And your opponents could also be predators too. So there's a lot of kind of like really insightful, thoughtful game mechanics here about how nature interacts throughout all the different seasons. A really fun, dynamic game, and like really cool little bird nest that you're going to be able to put all your little younglings in. That's Biome.
Nice. I love all the little animals in your game. I love it.
Adorable.
All right. My medium game pick is Shackleton Base: A Journey to the Moon, which I talked about a few months ago. This is a game from Fabio Lopiano and Nestor Magone, and it is about going out and building up a base on the moon. So each round, you are going to draft a shuttle tile, which comes with different types of astronauts and resources that you can use in that round. And then on your in your action phase, you're going to send those astronauts out to the moon to do things like collect resources, build up structures, fund projects. What makes the game so unique and interesting is every game has a unique set of 3 corporations that you're interacting with. So you're taking actions on behalf of these corporations or with these corporations, but there are more than 3 in the box. I think there's 6 or 7. And so it's always a little bit different, unless you play the game a whole bunch. And it gives a different combination of actions, different types of resources that are out on the moon, different ways that your astronauts will interact not only with the moon, but with each other. Once you've done all those things, the deployed astronauts get to be assigned to different work in different structures. So when they come in, they don't actually belong to anything. They're just free agents working, and then you kind of maneuver them where they need to be. It's one of those economic style Euros that I always enjoy, where you have to think about your resources and your workers a little bit differently, because they're not just yours. They're like how they work within the communal structure of building up the base on the moon, and then how those corporations interact with that. Very clever, very fun, and just it's on the heavier end of the medium scale, but it's accessible because the base mechanics are fairly simple. So Shackleton Base.
Very nice. All right, I think you got an expansion for us.
I got a heavy game before we dive into the expansions. IR Children of the Sun, which I talked about not too long ago. And the irony here is if you look on Board Game Geek, this is actually rated lighter than Shackleton Base, but I would disagree with that. So mechanically, this game is fairly straightforward in terms of what you're doing every round. You're taking up a piece, you're placing it on the map, you're taking the associated action, you're moving, and then you're gathering those pieces as necessary. But the game is much more complex than that because you are also balancing all of these different potential scoring mechanics between the moons and the suns, and when those things collect and when they don't, and when they trigger and when they don't, and the temples and where you place the temples. I'm not going to go into all of that because we're talking about a bigger, heavier game here. Suffice it to say, I really, really enjoy this game quite a bit. It's my close to favorite. I'm still not sure if I like this one more than Sancore, but it's up there with Fabio Lopiano's trilogy here. And it's another beautiful production from Tool and Osprey Games, and just really explores an interesting, fascinating idea and concept in a fun and visually compelling way. So, IR Children of the Sun.
Yeah, I actually have a heavy one here too. This is Black Forest. Came out at the end of 2024, 7.6 rating on BGG. The weight is 3.2. And again, a little bit of a crunchy, heavy game, but 100% truly accessible, especially if you ever played any of the previous Uwe Rosenberg games, because a lot of elements that you've played previously, like in Glass Road, comes back into Black Forest. Basically, you're using these 2 giant dials to manage your resources, and they're a little fiddly at first, but once you get a hang on it, the resource management is really nice and easy. On top of which, you're going to be building out these particular forest tableaus where you're going to be able to put different resources and features into your particular village, because obviously you're producing glass. And on the village itself, you basically have your worker bouncing around to different areas in order to gain resources, transform resources into other resources, and gain opportunities to score particular contracts throughout the game. So a lot of ways to score points. And then there's a building board that you have an opportunity to build up your tableau with special abilities and giant scoring bonuses at the end of the game. I really like this because it's really an accessible Uwe Rosenberg game, but it's small enough that, like, with some really crunchy players, you could have a really dynamic time. With lighter players, again, it's also fun because, again, the board's pretty laid out there. There's 5 different areas to go to. The travel's pretty straightforward and simple. The resources are managed pretty clean. This is not Caverna. This is not Agricola. This is not Feast for Odin. This is not even Glass Road. It doesn't have that kind of obtuse, complexity. It really is shrink down in a very accessible way, but still pretty crunchy. So that's Black Forest by Uwe Rosenberg.
All right.
Well, I think now on to your expansion here.
All right. Yes, let's dive in on the expansion. So I want to talk about a similar expansion to the one I just talked about, Clans of Caledonia Industria, which I also highly recommend. This is the Wormspan expansion of Dragon Academy. So daughter's a big fan of dragons. Had to get the new expansion, especially with baby dragons. I mean, come on. This is not like, it's not adding a lot of new mechanics to the game. It has new dragons, new caves, new objective tiles, new dragon guilds, a new round tracker to kind of manage how things flow. The interesting thing here, though, is the baby dragon, right? You have the fledgling dragons who will offer new scoring opportunities and change kind of the interactions that you have with the deck and with the cards that come out. And I find that really interesting. Not because it like fundamentally alters the game necessarily, but because it adds new ways to think about the types of cards you're getting and how you interact with them. And a lot of these cards have more synergies than some of the older ones do. So it is, if you like Wormspan, it's just like a simple, easy upgrade. You throw all the stuff in there and have more flexibility and more variability in the game. There's no reason not to include it all. If you've never played Wormspan before, grab Dragon Academy with it when you do, because it's just a fun way to kind of explore the mechanics here with some new pieces. So more of the same, I guess, is the best type of expansion we're talking about here. And this is a good one.
Yeah, glad to see it. All right. Well, our last recommendation here is a charity recommendation. And we have for you Bluffing for Booty. This is a game from our friends at Board Games for the Better. And you can, if you're not coming to PAX, you can go to boardgamesforthebetter.org. Now, the game itself is a lot of fun. If you ever seen that video about is the carrot in my box kind of thing, this is very similar, because basically you have this really high quality little bag and these 3 beautiful little tokens. One person's the captain. Again, you can play as 2 players or 3 players. And basically, one player is going to select whether they're going to have the actual booty, the treasure here, or the Kraken. And then the other player, again, based upon that bluffing mechanic, has to decide whether or not they have the treasure or the person who chose, the actual coins, did have the treasure. So it's a very simplistic game. It's a filler game, something you could throw in your pocket, take with you, play hand in hand, and just have a little bit of fun. And all the funds and resources raised from this game goes directly to their charity to support underrepresented, underserved communities that don't have really fun, cool games out there. So if you're going to be at PAX, please check out room 2001C. That's the PAX intersection room. Look for Board Games for the Better. Look for Erin or Chris, the designers of the game. Also, they run the organization. And again, all the proceeds go for Board Games for the Better. If you don't get a chance to go to PAX, please check out boardgamesforthebetter.org online. They could always use a donation to get more games out to people. And we know how fun games are. Or again, pick up the game. It's a good, fun little thing to do. Gives a donation to the charity, and also, something fun as like a stocking stuffer. All right, everyone. So that's it for this time. Until next week, this is Chris.
And this is Anthony.
And we'll save you all a seat at our holiday table. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Hey there, I'm Hugh from Moderation. If you like today's episode, why not check out The Next Session, your D&D agony aunts there to answer all of your questions. Join Adam and Alyssa as they answer questions sent in by listeners like you about how to solve the problems that come with running and playing in all sorts of different tabletop scenarios. Available wherever you get your podcasts.